Welcome back. Now, Johannesburg hosts the G20's Business Summit this week. The B20 serves as the official G20 dialogue forum with the global business community. This year's putting African priorities at the heart of global economic policies. Cas Coovadia, as the B20 Sherpa, joins us now for a preview of the summit ahead after developing and finalizing the B20's policy recommendations and presenting them to the G20 leadership. Cas, thanks so much for your time today. I did say a busy day for you, and it's going to be a busy week in general for the team. Now, we can't ignore the global context, right? Just last week, President Trump had said that South Africa doesn't belong in the G20, and taking that into account and Trump's stance overall when it comes to South Africa and the G20, has sentiment around that filtered through to the B20 in any way? And has it affected your ability to work with U.S. corporates or their engagement in the process?
No, it hasn't. U.S. corporates as well as U.S. business organizations have been involved with us from the beginning. They participated in the task forces. We've had a very good and close relationship with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in Washington, to whom we hand over in 2 days' time. So business has been consistently supportive, even after President Trump's announcement about a week ago that America will not be participating at all. I got messages without mine even prompting them. I got messages from all of our business associates to say things are on track. They will be here. They will continue to participate. So business from the U.S. has been very good, and they've been party to the debates on the task force, and they've been party to the recommendations we've made to the G20.
It's good to know that the business cogs are still turning. Now, the recommendations place Africa at the center. Cas, how confident are you that the G20 governments, especially the ones in the global north, genuinely buy into Africa's growth story and see value in it when it comes to the global economy?
Well, the way we position Africa's story is to say that Africa's growth and development is not only to the benefit of Africa and the people of Africa, it's to the benefit of the entire world. Simply because Africa has the most arable land of any continent in the world. If we actually enable Africans to ensure that they get into digital mechanisms to actually get involved in agriculture, if we grow the food and export the food that the world needs to address a global food security problem. Africa has the minerals for the AI economy, and if we firstly beneficiate in Africa and then also export minerals, it's good for the world. Africa has a youthful population. If we skill for the new economy, can fill the gap in some of the northern countries where work age populations are going down because of aging population. So Africa's growth is directly related to the growth and development of the globe. And that's how we position this. And that's how other G20 countries have seen this.
Yeah. Now, the B20 recommendations, Cas, don't automatically translate into policy changes. And I'm wondering whether there's a mechanism on the B20 side to track progress, monitor implementation, and assess whether business conditions are actually changing.
Yeah, so the short answer is there isn't a mechanism at the moment, because neither the B20 nor the G20 have permanent secretariats. But I have been speaking to the Sherpa in Brazil, obviously to the Sherpa in the US, and the Sherpa and the Chamber of British Industry in UK. And I believe UK will be the 2027 host. And what we want to put to them is, can we put together some sort of a structure between the four of us, even if it's to start with some sort of a virtual structure, to actually track the recommendations, to see how many are accepted, to see whether they are implemented, and not only that, but to actually measure the impact of implementation.
Yeah.
And maybe that becomes a secretariat over the next couple of years. But we're definitely very keen on doing that, and we've involved the other three Sherpas in those discussions. And we want to then report back to the B20 on an ongoing basis, because we represent business. And if business doesn't see implementation and impact, C-suite people eventually lose interest. And it would be a pity if the B20 cannot demonstrate impact, cannot demonstrate implementation, because I think it's a very important structure for business leaders from country to in the north and country to the south to sit down and begin to tackle common problems.
It'll be interesting how that develops, given that when you look on a broader basis, when you look at the G20 in particular, there's sort of a pushback against multilateral institutions. Just quickly before I let you go, what does a realistic win look like for you, for South Africa in particular?
On the political front, it's obviously a changing world. But our president was interviewed a few days ago, and he made the point, and I agree with that, that boycotts don't help. So a so-called sort of boycott from the U.S. administration will only be to their detriment, not to the detriment of the G20. The bottom line is not only G20 countries, but there's about 40-odd countries and heads of state that will be present here for the G20. And these are all sort of partners that want to build inclusive economies, that want to work with each other, that want to actually use the multilateral trading and investment system to actually build those inclusive economies. And I think that will continue. And I think some decisions will be taken that are to the benefit of the majority of the people in the world, because those are what these countries represent. So absolutely, we would want America as part of this. But the bottom line is that these countries will take decisions, we will implement those decisions, and we will try to make a difference so that economic growth actually is to the benefit of the majority of the people on our planet.
All right, let's leave it there, Cas. Thanks so much for your time. Looking forward to seeing you and everyone tomorrow afternoon.